Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Thummala and my credentials are I have 8 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations, internal security and in-depth analysis of editorials and articles. And this video is in regards to how to crack prelims 2020. But prior to that, there is a notification in regards to subscribing the Let's Crack UPSC CSE, which is India's largest learning platform. And once you get subscribed, you can have access to unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educators. And along with that, you have the other privileges, that is daily live classes, wherein you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and also be part of the answer polls. You can also have the live test and quizzes, wherein you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock test and quizzes, and also get detailed analysis on your performance. You also have the structured courses, wherein all of our courses are structured in line with UPSC exam syllabus, which would help you best prepare for the examination. And you also have the unlimited access, wherein upon subscription you would get access to all our live and recorded courses, wherein you can watch from your mobile or from your laptop. And you also have the top educators at Unacademy. There are Sudarshan Gujar, Roman Sainisa, Ashish Malik, Ayush Sanghi, and various others. And you also have Venkatesh Chaturvedi, Jatin Verma, Rahul Agarwal, Dr. Siddharth Aroria, and Ankit Kumar also. And in the UPSC CSE, you have the courses like polity, history, current affairs. You have also economy, geography, optional courses. Along with that, you have UPSC CSE batches, environment and ecology, science and technology also. And along with this, you have the other courses that are governance, practice and strategy, CSAT paper. You also have the ethics, integrity and aptitude. You have about Indian society, social science issues, essay writing, internal security, answer writing courses, and also in regards to the interview preparations. And in regards to the UPSC CSE subscription, you have 12-month subscription and 24-month subscription. For 12-month subscription, the amount is 40,000, wherein if you subscribe by my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10 you will get additional 10% off on 40,000 and the amount would be 36,000. And for 24 months, the original price is 48,000. You can subscribe using my code SBT10 and you would get 10% off, and then the total amount would be only 43,200. And for 24 months, wherein the original price is 48, for 24 months you would be paying the amount of only 12 months plus 1 month. That is, for 12 months the original price is 40,000 and for 1 month it is 8,000. So 40 plus 8,000 is 48,000. So for 24 months you are getting it for only the amount you pay for 12 months plus 1 month. So do take the advantage of it, and also you can get additional 10% by using my code SBT10, wherein again from this 48,000 you would be paying only 43,200. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead with the subscription and take the maximum benefit of listening to my classes or viewing my classes live and also recorded. And not only my classes, you can also go ahead with the other educators who are going ahead with the other subjects and the subtopics. So you have the maximum benefit, take the maximum benefit and go ahead with the subscription. And now we will get into the topic, that is the in-depth analysis of editorials and articles of the Hindu newspaper. And the reason why I'm going ahead with this topic is, that is the in-depth analysis, is that you will be very well equipped with the kind of analytical and also the factual data which has been asked in the prelims. So it is this, with the analysis and then trying to identify the keywords in the editorials and articles, you will be very much, what do you say, equipped and also very having an edge over the other uh, fellow beings, that is your competitors, that you will get a better knowledge and you will be ready to crack prelims 2020 and also be ready for the mains 2020. Now we'll get into the topics what we will discuss for today, that is the Supreme Court order, the contact tracing and Make in India. And this will make you very much, what do you say, familiar with all the keywords, which will be certainly useful for you in the prelims 2020. And my lecture or my video will definitely make you understand the in-depth analysis of the comprehensive manner, and wherein you will be understanding it for the mains point of view also. So if you look at the editorial, the first editorial today, the heading of the editorial is Uncritical Endorsement. Uncritical endorsement. So here the point is in regards to the endorsement. So who has given the endorsement and why the editor is talking about it is uncritical. So endorsement is been given by some X against some, what do you say, Y. So we will look at who is the one who has given endorsement against whom, and what is the case or why the necessity of the one who is doing endorsement. Also we will look at it. So it is a Supreme Court order which has come into, and this is what is actually in the news, that is Supreme Court order. And why the Supreme Court has given with the order, it is none other than because of the kind of situation what the migrant workers have been facing because of the national lockdown. Yes, national lockdown was for the benefit of the entire humankind, that is all the lives of the Indian citizens, but it has also affected, I mean, the migrant workers in a different way. So it was very important to make sure that the migrant workers, when they have entered into different cities and because of the national lockdown, the manufacturing units and the production units have been shut down. Once they have been shut down, then it was for them, there were no jobs, no income. So they wanted to make sure that they would move away to their respective states, and in the process what has happened was they were moving away from the states, and then they were getting into their respective states. In the process, the intention of the social distancing was lost, and then they were, it was very obvious that they were all congregated, they were all together, and then it was a fussy, and then it has created that, you, I mean, the spread of the virus can take place very violent. And in the process, the home minister has asked the centers or you say the national borders to respective states to close down, and then not only just closing down the national highways, but also making sure that all the migrants would be given protection, shelter, and then they would be quarantined in the quarantine camps for 14 days with provided with the food and then shelter. So this was the order given by the ministry, but there were few instances wherein the migrant workers were not actually taken into consideration, and they were not, or else they were ill treated. So then the petition was filed and the Supreme Court has given an order. So it was an order by the Supreme Court. So we will look at, when the national lockdown has taken place, it was just 4 hours. I mean, it was a short notice, and the short notice was for just 4 hours before the lockdown has come into existence, or it has taken into effect. And this has proved that there was a certain certainty, or there was certain of lack of planning and coordination within the states. Probably it was, if it was the short notice was given, probably if the notice was given in a, what do you say, in a very well advance, or couple of hours more than what the shutdown has taken place just before 4 hours, probably the states might have been planned and coordinated properly, and then the migrant workers would have been taken a proper step by the states and the central government, that whatever situation they are facing now wouldn't have been taken place. And the fears of the people about being left without cash, and this is what is important, why the migrants have moved away is because of the production unit being shut down. And because it has been shut down, it was important that they were losing the jobs. Once they lose job, then certainly they would not have any income, and once they do not have income, that is, they would be running out with the cash, and once they are running out with the cash, certainly they would be running out of food. So they felt that it is better, what do you say, rather than starving in another state, it's better to go back to their families and then be with them. So probably that was a principal reason. Once the national lockdown has taken, the migrant workers have thronged to the national highways, and they were trying to get into their respective homes because of without food, and they would be running out of, what do you say, cash and out of food. And this has made that they would be better that if they were going back to their families. So that is a principal reason. And then That is the reason why that entire the national highways, cities or the states connecting the national highways were totally jam packed. And then the Supreme Court has underscored in the sense highlighted what it has highlighted because of the conditions what the migrants were facing because of the national lockdown. The Supreme Court has underscored or highlighted that the need for the police and the government authorities to be kind. So the Supreme Court has given an order so saying that the police and the authorities should maintain some kindness towards the migrant workers. And the Supreme Court has uncritically accepted the official narrative that is a fake news. So what is going on is that in the midst of the national lockdown, there was a fake news which has what you say come into existence through the various social media, and the fake news was that probably the national lockdown could be for 3 months, so because of these fake news that it could be for 3 months, there was a panic button which has been pressed, and because of the panic button which has been pressed, the migrant workers felt that it is better to cross the states and go to their respective states or villages or towns, and this is the reason why they have what you say all of a sudden what you say got onto the national highways. So the Supreme Court has said very clearly that it is the duty officials narrative to make sure that the fake news is protected, and the Supreme Court has chosen the direct the media to refer to publish the and version of all developments which could be free from discussion. That means it should not be anything which is what you say any personal view in regards to the pandemic, but the Supreme Court has said that the media has to go ahead with publishing the only the official version, that is official version of all the developments which are being taking place, only which is accepted or which is by the government, which is referred by the government, which is what you say the government has released the bulletin, only in regards to that the media has to what you say publish, and then it should not be any kind of what you say free discussions about the pandemic. So the Supreme Court has asked the fake news to be what you say checked very clearly, and then the media also to make sure that they are going ahead with the publishing the only official version. So publishing the only official version was very important. So these are the things or the keywords wherein you need to be very clear while you are what do you say preparing for the prelims and also in the examination. These are the keywords would be which would be very crucial for you to go ahead with understanding in regards to the analytical questions in the prelims as well as in the mains. And the Supreme Court has also ordered that it flags the penal provision. So it is not just the government, I mean the Supreme Court has asked the government in regards to contain the fake news, but not only in regards to asking or directing the media to go ahead with publishing only the official version, but it is also mentioned that the government can go ahead with imposing or invoking the penal provisions wherein they could punish the one who have or who would spread or circulate information which is false or which is what is which would create panic or which would create a kind of disobedience to the public servants instructions. So whatever instruction are being given by the government officials or the public servants, those instructions have to be followed, and if they are not followed and if they are what you say construed in a different manner that a false news is being spread or circulated, then it leads to the penal provision, that is Indian penal code action would come into existence. And the Supreme Court has also restrained is understandable, that is in dealing with the pandemic. It said in the form of framing a strategy, there has to be a strategy, and then the strategy has to be in regards to the prevention and treatment, and not only in regards to the prevention and treatment, it should be in regards to the limiting its devastating economic fallout. So what is important now is, as we all know that I mean the entire country, the prime minister is making it very clear that we need to go ahead with overcoming the health crisis what is prevailing now because of the COVID-19. And in that process what is important is that we need to also look into the various factors that we need to go ahead with limiting the economic fallout. That means the crisis which is bound to happen in regards to the economic crisis, it is the duty of the executive to make sure that the devastating economic fallout would be in a very limited manner. It should not be in a free fall wherein the economic crisis would be again a problem to the entire mankind itself, not only in India but to the entire world. So It is the duty of the executive, primary duty of the executive, to make sure that the health crisis is to be taken into consideration and also the economic fallout to be restricted. And the conclusion is that, in regards to what we have looked at, what the Supreme Court has said, we will conclude that saying that the conclusion that the Supreme Court has chosen to examine, so it has chosen to examine what the humanitarian dimension or the humanitarian crisis, that it would be in the fitness of things if it asked more searching questions. It is asking that it should ask more searching questions of the government and ensure greater accountability in these distressing times. That means what we can conclude with the Supreme Court order to the government and to the, what do you say, official government officials, and also to the police department and also to the media persons, is that the Supreme Court is just focusing on the humanitarian dimension, but there is that the Supreme Court should also go ahead with asking or searching more questions to the government about, and ensure that there is greater responsibility by the government at this time, that is the time wherein it is distressing, the time wherein it is going on in regards to the health crisis, in regards to the COVID-19, the spread of pandemic, which is causing a distressing times to the entire mankind in the nation or across the world. So it is the government's duty, it is the accountability of the government to make sure that it asks more questions onto the one or to what things are going in a proper way or how it is going on. So we have looked at the Supreme Court's order in regards to the migrant workers or migrant issues, and then how they have, I mean, the Supreme Court has given notices to the police department, government authorities, to the media, and also giving an instance or given an order even to the public that if anyone is going against the instruction of the authorities, then there could be a possibility that Indian Penal Code would be into existence. So we have looked at all this, which could be very very important in regards to analytical point of view for Prelims 2020. Please do understand my lecture that it would be certainly useful for your conceptual thinking for the Prelims 2020. And now next we'll go to the next topic in regards to the contact tracing. So this is the second editorial, today's second editorial, wherein it talks that beyond the blame game. So definitely the editor feels that there is a blame game which is happening. So one is trying to blame the other. So what is the important or need that they are now is not that each and everyone should keep, I mean, pointing at others in regards to the blaming or in regards to blaming each and other, but we have to think beyond that. So beyond the blame game we have to go ahead, and what is that we have to think beyond the blame game, we would look at it, and who is trying to blame whom, we will also look at it. So this is the heading what I have taken it as, contact tracing. So I think now we have understood in regards to the what contacts we need to have or what tracing we have to do. So we all know that there was an, what do you say, conference or a gathering which has taken place, that is a 3-day event which has taken place at the Nizamuddin in Delhi, and it was a religious congregation which was, what do you say, organized by Tablighi Jamaat at the Alami Markaz Banglewali Masjid. It is at the Alami Markaz Banglewali Masjid in Nizamuddin in Delhi, and it was a 3-day event. So we are aware of it, but what is that it is, we need to look at it, or you will be better equipped in regards to the analytical or understanding point of view, is that this began on a day when the health minister has said that novel coronavirus has a health, did not consider the novel coronavirus as a health emergency. So it was on that day when the health minister has made it very clear that coronavirus is not an health emergency, but still there were, what do you say, 81 cases which were reported on the day when he has made it. So here the point is that we are not, I mean, I am not, what do you say, trying to find fault at the government or the health ministry. No, we are just trying to look at for only Prelims point of view, that how many of them are involved, and how the blame game is actually happening, and then how we have to overcome or think beyond the blame game, and then we have to look at the, what do you say, a coordinated effort to handle or tackle the pandemic. That is what is important for prelims, and that is what is important for the UPSC mains examination, and that is why I'm trying to, what do you say it, the incident which has taken place, so that in our due discussion or in the explanation you will understand the blame game. It is not that pinpointing at anyone. The only point is to look at this issue in regards to the UPSC point of view. That's it. And we have seen that health ministry has said this, and then again we have seen, as we know, that in Nizamuddin there was a congregation, religious congregation by the Tablighi Jamaat, which is an international organization, and it has been held at Alami Markaz Banglewala Bawali Masjid. So this is again, you never know, it could be which among the following masjid was part of the religious congregation at by the Tablighi Jamaat, an international organization. So it could be Alami Markaz Banglewali Masjid. And the organizers, they should have been aware of the entire congregation, because it was, what do you say, before the 3-day event has begun, health minister has said this, that there is no, what do you say, a threat to the health emergency. And at the same time, see, now I'm talking, I did talk about the health ministry here, and now again we are trying to look at the organizers here. So it is, what we are trying to look at is that the two different, what do you say, institutions, or one is the health ministry and the other one is the organizers. That is why I have taken this, so that the blame game should be stopped, and then we have to think beyond. And how can we think beyond, and what are the challenges and what are the measures for prelims and mains point of view, would be my discussion for the benefit of all your viewers, all my viewers, and also in regards to the all the civil servant aspirants. So health ministry one side, again organizers. So it is a duty, it is the duty of the organizers to make sure that they should be aware of this similar congregation. Please do understand here the keyword similar congregation, which has been organized by the same organizers in the Malaysia in end February, and this has led to spike in cases in those areas, because of the virus has spread to various different countries. So what is that, now you are trying, now you will definitely try to understand why I was taking up two different, what do you say, entities, that is health ministry and the organizers. Yes, the organizers should have been aware, because the same kind of uh, religious congregation has been organized in Malaysia in the end of February itself, and then that has caused a spike in cases because of the attendees, or because of the congregation. The virus has spread to many countries. So it was definitely the duty of the responsibility, or the duty of the organizers, to make sure that when it has happened in the Malaysia or in Southeast Asian countries, then they would have actually stopped the same kind or similar kind of congregation or the gatherings at Alami Markaz Banglewali Masjid in Nizamuddin in Delhi. So this is what I'm talking about, blame game. Please do understand, this could be the keywords while you're, what do you say, is sitting in the prelims, or else even in regards to the mains questions or mains examination, the descriptive point of view, blame game. And then not only the organizers, not only in regards to the health ministry, but even the Delhi government. The Delhi government is equally culpable, that is guilty, because it did not, or it hasn't stopped the meeting or the congregation which has, what do you say, started on March 13th, and which could have been, what do you say, stopped, but even Delhi government did not stop it. So it is the blame game between the government, central government, that is the ministry, that is the organizers, and the Delhi government. So now we have to come beyond that, the blame game. So it is the Delhi government should have done that when the March, at the time of March 13 itself, the congregation should not take place, shouldn't have taken place, or else we would have, what you say, had very less cases of death in regards to the COVID-19, and also the probability of the infections are now have spread very violent, and the cases are spreading, infection cases are spreading very speed. And now we will look at the challenges. This is a better understanding for you all when you are looking at an issue in a different perspective. When I'm saying different perspective, it is certainly in regards to the mains and prelims perspective. Macro level approach, macro level strategy is what is important. I repeat this because the viewers who are watching this video will definitely understand the importance of the, what you said, the way I'm taking up the session is to make sure that you are all totally benefited. And this is why we will now take up with the challenges. And what were the challenges we have seen is that because of the large gatherings, religious and non-religious, and it has, what do you say, caused lot of panic and infections which has spread over the country. That is, there were people in this congregation, there were people from, what do you say, various states. It was from Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Assam, and even from, what you say, Jammu and Kashmir. So now we do understand the impact of the virus which has spread virulent across the state, and now there is definitely a hardship for the government machinery to track and to make sure that how they go ahead with countering the spread of virus. Wherein, because in the country after India reported its first case, so it is very important that the large gatherings which have taken place, the religious and non-religious. So even though the first case has taken place in India, what is the challenge, or what was the, what do you say, the point wherein it was a cause of concern is what, in spite of the first case being, what do you say, declared by the government, there were still large gatherings. There were still, what you say, religious and non-religious gatherings, and this is a cause of concern. Okay, no doubt the Prime Minister, whatever he has gone ahead with national lockdown was imperative, but they could have done it little early itself. And then we have seen the Namaste Trump rally at Ahmedabad. From there to even the recent one, that is the migrant gatherings. So this, all this is what we are, why I'm trying to take up that this is a challenge, is because these were the things, or these rallies and the migrants gatherings were the one which were against the concept of the against the concept of the social distancing or physical distancing, and that we never know. From then, the, what do you say, the spread of virus might have, what do you say, spreaded across various persons, across various, what do you say, districts, and then in regards to various cities also. So all this has been taken up unknowingly, that person was carrying, or X person was carrying the virus. And until the lockdown has begun, the places of worships were open, political events have been held, and this is also a challenge. So when you are actually writing an answer in regards to the responsibility of the government and the citizens and the political, in regards to even taking into consideration the religious, so who are all, what do you say, can be taken into consideration, that they could have added to this spur of the spread of the virus unknowingly. I'm saying unknowingly because this is what we have to look at. This is what you can have, what do you say, at least 3 or 4 lines, a very good, or what do you say, answer while you are writing an answer. So main points while you are writing an answer. And the other challenge is that all these events what we have seen, right from, what you said, Trump rally, Namaste Trump rally, till the migrants, recently migrants all coming together, and also in regards to the Nizamuddin, the religious congregation, all irrespective of, what you say, the congregation which has taken place in the Nizamuddin, or else in various temples, and also at churches also. So this has actually seeded the virus. This again is a keyword while you are writing the answer. Has potentially seeded the virus into the population, and this should have been prevented or cancelled. All these events should have been prevented or cancelled. And why I'm saying all this is, these are the challenges, and these were the challenges because the government could not take an action or an appropriate action at the appropriate time. That is very important. They haven't taken it, or else they haven't, what do you say, they haven't seen the situation might unfold into this manner. But it is the need of the hour for the government to look into all this. So that was one of the cause of concern. And India failed despite how global congregations have actually showed the result that the spike in the spread of virus or the spike in the infectious patients have been actually what you say brought to the notice. We all are aware by the bulletin or the facts by the various countries, especially in the Southeast Asia and also in the European countries, that the spread of virus was very alarming only because of the congregation. And India has failed despite being aware of the how global congregation has spread the virus in South Korea, Singapore, that is in Southeast Asian countries, and Europe, that is southern Italy, Spain, now France, and also US. So these are the challenges. Again, these are the challenges wherein we have faced, and then the nation has to learn from these challenges. What the challenges we have met at, which wherein we haven't totally prepared to go ahead with not to have any social gatherings. And then in regards to the measures, yes, whatever measures or whatever challenges the country has experienced, so the measures are definitely in place so that in the future the government can go ahead with taking up the measures to reduce or to curtail the spread of virus or any kind of pandemic which might arise in the future. We hope it will not. States that already have cases with a link to Nizamuddin event should now use the lockdown period. So what is the measure is now? Now all the people who were part of the congregation in the Nizamuddin event, the states have to make sure that they identify them, they trace them, and then they go ahead with locking down them totally, because that could actually prove that the 14-day quarantine will not spread the virus to the entire community or to the entire state. That is, they have to go ahead with tracing the contacts, quarantine them for 14 days, test and treat them without losing time. That is very important. That is why I've said it is a tough task or a humongous task for the government machinery and also to the health officials, that how to trace and then quarantine them, test them and treat them without losing any time. That is, within very stipulated time, all this has to be done at a very faster pace, and that is one of the measures if you wanted to contain the virus, spread of virus to n number of people. And then the remaining period of shutdown should be used to expand the testing at least for the community level. So what is important here is not just going ahead with what is a quarantining them for 14 days and then make sure that they are treated, but the remaining shutdown periods, there is a necessity that they have to go ahead with the testing. So this is what is lacking now at this juncture in India. Across the country, we are not going ahead with the aggressive testing, but this has to be taken into consideration, because only when we go ahead with this aggressive testing, only then, I mean, trace, test and treat, trace, test and treat, when we go ahead with these 3 T's or T cube, then we can make sure that the community level spreading can be limited. And once this community level spreading can be restricted, then the suspected cases or the infected patients would be reduced, and then the loss of life would be reduced. So what is important at this moment, the best measure what India can go ahead to restrict the lives is to go ahead with 3 T's, T cube, that is trace, test and treat. This is very important, because we have seen that how South Korea and Singapore have actually what you say gone ahead with a very rigorous tracing of contacts. That is, a meticulous job has been done by the South Koreans and Singaporean government, that they have gone ahead with a meticulous tracing of the contacts of a church event. So as not only the one which has taken place, the congregation in the Nizamuddin, but there was a same kind of what you say a congregation which has taken place in South Korea and Singapore. Singapore has gone ahead with a very good tracing in regards to the church event. That is, more people coming to the church in the event, and then it has spread, and then they have gone ahead with the contact, they have traced that. So we need to go ahead with that kind of thing. And also not only that tracing, but also aggressive testing has to be done so that the virus will not spread very violent. And then if it spread, then it will hit very badly the community. Once community is affected, then the district is affected. Once the districts get affected, then the states, and then the nation, then the rise of death cases would be very high within very short span of time. So what is important is we need to learn the measure. What we have this moment is learn from our countries, neighboring countries, or the countries which have taken a very strong tracing methods and very strong decisions to isolate them, contact them, isolate them, and then go ahead with the aggressive testing. So these we have looked at in regards to the what is contact tracing, and then how the blame game should be removed, and then we have to come forward with in regards to the contact tracing, that health ministry, it's not health ministry, it is not organizers, it is not Delhi government, but it is the individuals who also should be part of it, that they have to overcome all the challenges, and then along with the center and the state, even the individuals, each and every citizen has to be part of the measures, and then we implement the measures and then make sure that we are having a success, or we are actually overcoming the COVID-19, the virus. And the next is you have one more in the article which states that still no bull's eye in volume and value. So the editor, I mean the authors, they very clearly say that there is something wherein we are not still focusing on it 100% or in toto, that is in regards to the volume and also in regards to the value. So what is that in regards to, we will look at it, which will be very useful for the prelims 2020 and also in regards to the mains also, but emphasize would be mainly on the prelims 2020. And the heading what I have taken is Make in India. And then you have an estimate released, the latest report or estimate which has been released by CIPRI, that is Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. So you may have a first direct question in the prelims. SIPRI means which among the following? So you have a solid one question here. Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. It is talking about the Indians' defense imports and exports. Please do understand. CIPRI is talking about India's defense imports and exports. How the imports have risen, or it has reduced. How the exports have increased or it has reduced. So it is the report of the CIPRI which says that the imports have reduced and the exports have increased. Please do understand, again from prelims point of view, the imports of Indian defense have fallen down or reduced, and the exports of Indian defense have increased. So this is very important. CIPRI means, once again, for you, so that it should get into your mind completely, because it should be taken into consideration for prelims point of view. Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, CIPRI. So it has taken up the estimates from 2009 to 13, again 2014 to 18. So it's latest one. So you can take it into consideration for prelims point of view. So it is talking in regards to the defense imports and then defense exports. So imports have fell down, has come down, and then exports have increased. So we will look at the reasons why the imports have fallen down and the reasons why exports have increased. And these reasons what I am talking now, or what I would explain to you, and then which the discussion would go ahead, is could be a probable analytical question in the prelims, and also which could be very useful while you are writing an answer in the mains 2020. So please do understand the reasons for the imports falling down and the exports increasing. So we will look at now at the reasons. And the first one is the Make in India initiative. Yes, Make in India initiative by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi or the Indian government was to make sure that we will go ahead with the manufacturing the products within India, that is trying to help or trying to improve the or support the indigenous manufacturing units wherein they will be protected by a new initiative by the Indian government, that is by the Make in India program. And this Make in India program has been one of the reason why the imports have fell down. That means many of the components many of the components which are necessary for the various defense equipment have been, what do you say, manufactured by the indigenous manufacturing units within India. That is why the imports from various countries have fallen down. Please do understand, the first and foremost is the Make in India, and this is very important for your descriptive and analytical point of view. And that through Make in India, various or number of components which are useful for the defense are being, what do you say, by the Indian private and public sector enterprises within, and this initiative was taken or it was a priority by the government itself, so that by Make in India program we are not just relying, we will not rely totally on the imports, or we will not support the public and private sectors of the foreign companies or foreign nationals, but we will support, we will also encourage, we will lift the indigenous manufacturing sectors, so that in the future Make in India, India will be the manufacturing hub. India will be the manufacturing hub wherein from India the exports should take place. But earlier it was India was importing a lot, but it started with the defense, and then in defense we have seen, in all the sectors, but we are talking about in regards to the defense. And in regards to defense, yes, the public and the private sectors which were, what do you say, supported by the Indian government, has gone into the Make in India initiative as a successful, and then various components were manufactured here. That is one of the first reason. And the second one is the, because we have seen that India was going ahead with purchasing various aircrafts and then fighter jets, and then also in regards to stealth technologies of aircrafts, fighter jets again, and then in regards to Rafale from France, and also submarines from France, and also from US F-16s or further aircrafts. So all these, the procurement process from the vendors or from the various countries have been delaying. So this is the major cause also. The second one, the first one is the Make in India program, and the second one is in regards to the delays in supplying equipment by vendors. So we were actually in the process that what actually we wanted to make sure that we want that, so those arms and ammunitions or our aircrafts or the particular components, so those were actually been delayed, and that delayed is not good for the national security, because we were actually in the process of procuring the defense arms and ammunitions only because it is the need of the hour for the national security. So when there are delays, then there is no point in, what you say, procuring after the purpose is meted out, or there is no purpose later on. The purpose is the national security. Again, when I'm using this word national security, it is a keyword for you in the prelims and mains. And not only the delays, there were a lot of cancellations also of the contracts which have taken place. So the third one is in regards to the cancellations. So cancellations of the contracts by the Indian governments. So these are the three reasons. The first is the Make in India, which is a very good, and the one which are the negative, it's the delays and the cancellations. So because of this, the imports have fell down, and we have seen that Modi government or the Indian government has come up with the concept of Make in India, and through that Make in India, we have seen the defense procurement procedure, that is DPP. Again, here I am emphasizing that it is very crucial in regards to analytical for prelims 2020, because the defense ministry or the DPP, or in regards to the Defense Acquisition Council DAC, is going into lots of procurement in regards to, we have seen recently the Tejas, light combat aircraft, LCA Tejas, and that is very important. Based on that, we need to understand the defense procurement procedure. So for procuring the defense or defense arms and ammunition, there is a procedure, and that procedure is been laid down in regards to terms, regulations and requirements for defense acquisition. So this is a procedure which is laid down, and that procedure will actually have the terms, regulations and requirements. Terms, regulations and requirements for defense acquisition. So what all we need to acquire, that is been actually prepared by a procedure, and that is by the defense procurement procedure. And then, and also it will look at whether it is a necessary for building India's defense industry. So as I've said that it is imperative that we go ahead with the procurement of the defense equipments, because it is the need of the hour, that is in regards to the national security. So when it is in regards to the national security, it is necessary. So they will also look at whether there is a necessary for India's defense industry to go ahead with the acquisition or procurement of the defense. And it created a new procurement category, and then later on a new procurement category, again a keyword, has come up into existence, that is called as DPP of 2016, that is Defense Procurement Procedure of 2016. Again, this is a prelims analytical point of view. Please do understand, you would get many questions. Again, I'm reiterating my statement here in the mid of the explanation. You would get, or you would experience many questions from the editorials and articles. It is not like the previous, like they would give questions from the newspaper, or else avoiding or skipping the editorials and analysis, you can, what do you say, crack prelims 2020 has become a tougher. And that is why my classes or my session in regards to the in-depth analysis of editorials and articles will fetch you, what do you say, more marks in cracking prelims 2020. So again, in regards to coming back to our lecture, the new procurement category, the government created a new procurement category. This is again important. And what is the new procurement category? That is DPP of 2016, and it dubbed by Indian indigenously designed, developed and manufactured. And this is again, I'm saying it, very important for prelims. So the new procurement category is DPP 2016, and what it has come up with a theme is that it says by Indian indigenously designed, developed and manufactured. So now you understand the Make in India program, or the initiative of the Make in India program, or the essence of the Make in India program by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, or by the Indian government. Yes, it is focusing on, as I have said, it wanted to support, it wanted to enhance the indigenous manufacturing units, and that is what it is. DPP of 2016 is by by Indian indigenously designed, developed and manufactured. And I have said, by Make in India program, India wanted, I mean, the intention or the target of Make in India is to make sure that India would become the manufacturing hub of the world, I said. Please do understand this keyword. India, as through Make in India program or through Make in India initiative, India would become the manufacturing hub of the world. The manufacturing hub of the world, and that is what it is. By Indian indigenously designed, developed and manufactured items, or what do you say, the categories or the components, India would become the world's manufacturing hub. Now you understand the essence of the editorials and articles, how it would be, what is focused in the prelims 2020 and also the mains. And then the make procedure, you have make, because you have make, buy, and you have three categories in procurement. That is, the first one is make, the other one is what do you say, buy, the other one is make and buy procedure. And then this procedure, that is the third category, that I mean, you have the one of the third category is make procedure, has undergone a, what do you say, simplification by the DPP of 2016. What is that simplification? That is, it is earmarking the projects not exceeding 10 crores. So it wanted to go ahead with the make procedure within or else by the DPP of 2016 that the governments would fund and 3 crore for these 10 crores would be funded by the government, and then the other one is the 3 crores for micro, small and medium enterprises. So it is very clear now that the government wanted to protect and then what is lift the indigenous manufacturing unit. So it wanted to make sure that the projects not exceeding 10 crores, at the same time making sure that they would fund, the government would fund and 3 crore rupees for the MSMEs. This is very important, MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium enterprises. Why here again we are looking at MSMEs? Because these MSMEs or in these MSMEs or that these MSMEs industries, we have the almost what do you say the entire informal sectors, the laborers or the workers in the informal sectors. MSME provides lot of informal what do you say jobs, which the informal sector or the unorganized sector constitutes close to 40% to the GDP. So that is very important. So the government has understood that it has to focus on the MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, wherein from these micro, small and medium enterprises, the components for the various defense equipment or for various other sectors, components would be provided, and by this there would be job creation, employment to the what do you say the informal sectors or the daily wages, wherein they are part of the unorganized sectors. So it is not just what you say trying to help the MSMEs, but also creating jobs by Make in India program. Creating jobs by Make in India program. So this is how you need to go ahead with analyzing and linking various aspects or various keywords and then try to frame an analytical answer for the prelims and also for the mains. And the government has also introduced provisions in the DPP of 2016 that the private industry production agencies and partners for technological transfer. That means the government is very much focusing on this concept, that is technology transfer, that is from buy and make procedure of the third category of the procurement. The government by DPP of 2016 wanted to go ahead with technology transfer. What does it mean? It would purchase from various other countries the components, or else in regards to the fighter jets, or else in regards to the light combat aircraft, or with submarines or various other things, but they wanted to make sure that they are not just purchasing and then what you say our import bill exceeds, but they wanted the technology also. Please do understand here, they want the technology to be transferred to India or to the Indian manufacturing units, wherein later on, after a couple of years, it could be 5-10 years down the line, Indian manufacturing units will have that technology, wherein our engineers could also work on the latest technologies further again in the due decades to come, and then we will not rely on the other countries, that is the developed countries, in regards to the procurement in regards to defense or in regards to any sector. So this is what is important, technology transfer under the buy and make procedure, not make, buy and make procedure. And then we will look at the reasons why there is rise in export. Now we have looked at why there was the reasons for the what do you say overall. Now we will look at rise in exports. The rise in exports between 2012 and 2019 saw what do you say a jump because of the Indian public and private sectors. So there was a rise in regards to the defense exports, especially between 2012 and 2019, because of the public and private sector enterprises which they have come forward, and also because of the all the startups we have seen. Because of that rise in exports, that means India is exporting and then imports have reduced. And they are, I mean, looking into the again the factual point for the prelims 2020 is the two fiscal years, that is 2017-18 and 18-19, if you look at the exports, there was a surge, that is increased. In 2018, 17-18, it was 7,500 crores exports, but in 18-19 it has increased to 11,000 crores, and that is 40% increase in exports. Again, this is very, very important in regards to your prelims point of view, factual prelims point of view, wherein if is emphasizing on the what amount of percentage has been increased in the defense, especially in regards to the exports of India. So here it is from 7,500 to 11,000, and percentage of increase is 40%. 40% of increase in exports. And according to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the Export Import Data Bank, which exports of defense items in the aerospace category has witnessed increase in the value. So I would explain it. Even the what you say, according to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the the export import data bank, as per the export import data bank, because you have EXIM, that is export import, that is called as EXIM, EXIM. So through that EXIM, or through that what do you say, the data from the EXIM, we are in regards to the export of the defense items in the aerospace category. So the Ministry of Commerce and Industry have taken the data from the EXIM, especially focusing on the aerospace category, wherein it says that it has increased a lot in regards to the value. And then you also have the small naval crafts, wherein which accounts to the bulk of India's major defense exports. And because of this, small naval crafts, because of this, the export of ammunition and arms remain low. So the bulk of India's major defense exports are because of the naval craft, small, and the export of ammunition and arms have become low. Here, if you look at the exports in regards to ammunition and arms have come low, but in regards to just because of this small naval crafts. Now we will look at fall in imports. Why there is a decline in imports? Because we have seen the growing indigenization, that is the Indian manufacturers has reduced the imports, and also the Make in India program, as we have discussed. And then we have also seen the defense acquisition, as I said, defense procurement procedure, and you also have the Defense Acquisition Council, DCC, and these together have what you say fallen due to the, as we have seen, again there were many delays and also cancellation of very big what do you say contracts which have taken place between India and various other countries, and because of the delays, cancellation, and then the Make in India program, because of the Make in India program, the indigenization or else protecting the Indian company has also made sure that it is creating a lot of what do you say a fall in imports. And we also seen in the year 2015 that the Indian government has reduced the size of 126. Actually, we were supposed to go ahead with procuring the Rafale, that is medium multi-role combat aircraft, MMRCA. This is again important for your prelims. Rafale jet is a medium multi-role combat aircraft. Medium multi-role combat aircraft is Rafale, wherein actually we were supposed to purchase 126 from Dassault company or the vendor, but we have actually what you say concluded, or we have gone ahead with only 36 aircraft. And this again in regards to what you say fall in imports, and that fall in imports will actually what you say have a better or a positive note in regards to the import bill, because we have reduced the import bill. Because of purchasing 126, we would have paid more to the what you say France or to the Dassault company. And India also has cancelled what is in the year 2018 in regards to the Su-57 stealth, that is a secrecy which it mentions, that is a fifth generation fighter aircraft jet. So even with the Russia, we had gone ahead with the cancelling because of the delays. We have cancelled because of the delays in regards to the Su-57 stealth fifth generation fighter aircraft, FGFA jet. And then again we have seen that there was also delays in regards to the T-19 battle tanks and also Su-30 combat aircraft we have seen from Russia, and also from the submarines from France, that is in the year 2019-13 and 2014-18. So They were what you say T-90 battle tanks from Russia, and also Su-30 combat aircraft from Russia, and also in regards to the submarines from France. All these we have seen that there was delays, and then we have gone ahead with cancelling, and then there was shortage of the fall in imports. Now we will look at another point which is very again important for the prelims point of view, which is the factual point, which is factual. And India has four companies which are the listing among the top 100 best arms producers in the world. Please do understand, this could be the probable factual question in the prelims. India has four companies in the top 100 biggest arm producers of the world. And what are they? We will look at it again for prelims point of view. That is Indian Ordnance Factories, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited (HAL), which stands at 37th and 30th rank. This is again important for prelims. And we also have the the next, that is Bharat Electronics Limited (BEL), and then Bharat Dynamics Limited (BDL). So which are followed by this. The first is in regards to India, the first is, which is standing among top among the four, is the Indian Ordnance Factories, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, and then after that it is the Bharat Electronics Limited, and then Bharat Dynamics. So please do understand these three, and then the top, the places, the spots in the top 100 biggest arm producers of the world. So the next is, all these four companies are public sector. What is important is they are all public sectors, and these public sectors are top 100 in the world producing the defense equipment, and they are accounting for the bulk of the domestic armament demand. So look at the way we are actually going ahead with the public sectors, which are really helping out, and then it is a need of the hour that the government tries to protect the public sector companies in regards to the defense equipment. And according to the CIPRI, what is CIPRI? I suppose you all know it. Again, for the benefit of you, I will take this, because the first line of our Make in India, the article discussion was this, that is Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. And according to CIPRI, these four companies' combined sales were 7.5 billion in 2017, and wherein it has jumped 6.1% comparing it with the 2016. So definitely these four companies are doing a great job for the nation in regards to the defense or domestic armament demand. And this Make in India program is actually, favoring India's defense import to reduce, and it is favoring again India's defense exports to increase. So we have looked at the various reasons, and also the reasons for fall in imports and the rise in exports, and the four companies which are amongst the top. So it was a total, a capsule, prelims capsule for you for prelims 2020, wherein you will not miss any question if it is asked from these areas. So you are very well equipped now. And as I know that we have done in an extensive manner in regards to all the topics. So we have taken up right from the Supreme Court order, and then who all should be responsible, and then we have taken up the challenges and measures there, and then in regards to contact tracing, how it has actually come up, what are the various challenges and the measures we have also looked at. And then Make in India program, the CIPRI Make in India program, cancellation delays, the reasons we have looked at. We have looked at DPP, we have looked at DPP of 2016, and what it says is Indian indigenously designed, developed and manufactured, wherein we have also discussed about what is technology transfer, and then make procedure, buy procedure, make and buy procedure, three categories of procurement. And we have looked at the rise in export, the various reasons, and what the Ministry of Commerce and Industry have also said. And we have looked at the kind of how we have India has gone ahead with it could be delays or cancellation or reduce the procurement policies, procurement in regards to Russia, or it could be in regards to France, and it could be in regards to the US also. So the other four companies which are among the top 100 among the best arms producers in the world, we have seen that is Indian Ordnance Factories, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, and also the Bharat Electronics Limited. Along with that, it is Bharat Dynamics Limited. So we have all this in place, wherein we have looked at very keen in regards to the prelims and mains point of view. And I hope my session, which I have taken for the benefit of all the viewers in a very exclusive and extensive manner for prelims and mains, could be a useful session which could be informative, knowledgeable, and then I hope you to go ahead with to like, to subscribe, and to hit the bell button when you are watching the video, that is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. And if you haven't subscribed the Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel, please do subscribe right now, and then you can use my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10, wherein you will get 10% discount upon subscription. So do not waste your time, go ahead with the subscription, and then get the benefit of all my classes, which would be extensive for the prelims and also the mains, that is prelims 2020 and mains 2020. So thank you, see you tomorrow at this time.